Afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, and hopefully soon the guests, and welcome to our Old is Gold meeting number 47 from Bahrain Advanced Toastmasters Club. We will be enjoying a number of speakers and evaluation, one ruthless evaluation, I was told, but let's see. Let's enjoy the day and let me hand over the microphone to our president of the club, Toastmaster Widad Hijazi. Please welcome her.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Muhammad Shukri. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
I'm using my mobile. I don't know if you have guests. Okay. So I hope everyone is at his best. I'm glad today to talk about All This Gold. The history of All This Gold is something that started with the pandemic. Hope we don't come back again in a different way. They are just, as the topic of today, artificial intelligence, they are just trying to tell us from time to time, something wrong will happen there, and people get panic, all these details. Anyways, what's good about the pandemic is that we have All This Gold series that started with talking about Toastmasters topics, leadership, communication, pathways, and then it developed as life developed quickly within the past 2 years. Now we are talking about artificial intelligence and all these details. And All This Gold also developed with the development of everything that happens all over the world. What attracted my attention this morning, I was watching a movie, actually a video. It was about 20 minutes talking about brain rot. Do you think our brains rot? Actually,
Yes,
they do.
Yes, they do.
They do, actually.
Yes.
I was amazed by this information because I'm working on my personal research. And then I discovered I was talking about searching for emotions. And then I noticed that, our brain rots. This is something we need to take care about ourselves. And hope someone will mention it. I don't know. Hope I didn't spoil it. But I will not talk about it. Let's talk about it later if it's not mentioned today. Artificial intelligence, life that goes quickly, our life changes. Are we following up with these things on the personal level, on the emotional level? This is something I care for, and in the communication level. Well, that's something interesting. Let's continue with our All This Gold series number 47 and go back to our master of ceremony for today. And he is a special person for me, actually. He's symbol of dedication. He's symbol of hard work, a good father, a person. I'm talking about my personal opinion about him. He is always everywhere. He has nice words to use. He is active, dynamic, holding club membership in District 20 and 56. At club level, he has served as president, vice president education, vice president membership, treasurer, and sergeant at arms. Wow, I'm amazed. I'm shocked now. At district level, he has served as area and division director. I think you know who we are talking about. He's none other than our vibrant, active role model, DTM Farouk Qadir. The floor is yours now to take the lead in this amazing day. I will not be with you. Unfortunately, my plans were changed before you take the lead.
Mhm.
And I will miss you. I don't like this double issue that happens here and there at the same time. So I committed myself to an event and they changed the date. It happened that it's today going on, but I couldn't miss being with you even for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Wish you all the best. Wish you all the best. I definitely will watch the recording. It's a very interesting topic and the speakers are very special today. Good luck, everyone. Back to you, Master of Ceremony. The floor is yours.
Thank
Let's
you,
give
Madam
him a big
President.
round of applause.
Thank you, Madam President, and a big shout out and after appreciation to our president for being here despite having other commitments and supporting us with her presence and the kind words and the dynamic introduction she did to the Old is Gold series. Hats off and kudos to you, Madam President. Thank you and wish you all the best. And thank you for joining with us and giving us your support. Dear fellow guests and members, today's session is titled about how we can use the theme of today's session is how to do self-development through technology, enhancing skills for future. Now, one of the things that I always thought about technology before I get to the speakers and everybody is that initially when the technology started, now I'm an old soul. So when the technology thing started, people were trying to learn technology through the traditional methods and then apply them for the skills. Nobody thought that it was for self-development. It was a need at certain times for some people. Either embrace technology or be out. And that was the difficult part. And technology was a thing to be feared in our age. For many of the people, they were afraid of technology. They didn't know what to do. And even they were afraid of computers and laptops and forget programs. Today, if we talk to them about artificial intelligence, I think they will just run away. They won't say how it happened. But technology has always been frightening to many people. I still remember an old incident that was supposed to happen that how many of you know bicycle? You know, everybody knows the bicycle when it came. Now, there was an incident in the Arab countries that when the bicycle came, people were afraid and said, how does an inanimate thing take you one place to another? People were used to horses. And you know, so they were so afraid, the simple people or the villagers were afraid, they called it a devil's donkey because it was inanimate. So they thought it was something devilish behind it. Now think about the same people thinking about driverless cars. Cameras, how could a car drive by itself? How safe would you all feel about it? But fortunately, we have progressed to a stage that not only we or our children or our young generation is not afraid of technology, but is embracing it through learning and development. And they are not only using it for their own development, but they're using it to learn, teach something. So they are supplementing what the teachers are doing in traditional education and using it for their own development on the side. So we have heard about all of these stories, like how people use AI, how people use YouTube videos to learn, how people use AI bots to design courses for themselves and do all of these things. But at the end of the day, these are stories we do not relate to. We hear about them in journals, we hear about them in newspapers. Today, what we are planning to do is we're having a gifted set of speakers share their personal stories with us so we can relate to them on a personal level. And this is what I feel about technology. Sometimes we get so engrossed in technology that we forget the human touch, the human relationship that we need to have with the people. And this is what makes it relatable. And this is what we do at Toastmasters. We talk about technology, but at the end, we realize it's the people that need to connect. And we connect to people by what? By stories. And today, I'm looking forward to a wonderful set of speakers relating their personal stories and journeys, and how they develop themselves through technology, and how they embrace technology, and what their journey really was. And that's something I look forward to. So let me go ahead and introduce the first speaker, who may not be on the poster, but is in our hearts and is on our screens, DTM Sara. She's a part-time pixel perfectionist, a full-time font snob. Well, if you're a perfectionist, you have the right to be a snob. She's a designer who supervises making everything look so good, even Comic Sans gets jealous. I don't know what Comic Sans, but if they get jealous, then it's no laughing matter. Okay. And she's art with an eye for color combinations. And because of that, she's caffeine dependent. I can say that. And she believes that white space is sacred, and just one more tweak is a valid excuse for missing deadlines. Big no-no in my book, but that's okay. If as long as it's perfect, when she's not cunning her way through life, she's probably judging your slide layout silently by intensity. And That's why we don't prefer to use slides most of the time, except as props. But when she uses a slide, then we will also look back to her intently. With that, let me introduce our first speaker, DTM Sara Ibrahim, with her speech titled Control Z to Magic, Control Z to Magic. And that is something we are going to hear from a Gen Z, DTM Sara. Over to you.
May I just say, I might be a Gen Z by age, but a millennial at heart. And that's why I'm being treated as a boomer most of the time. I don't know why, in Toastmasters specifically. Ever opened a design tool, stared at a black screen, and whispered to yourself, "Dear Canva, don't fail me now"? That was me, the non-designer who accidentally discovered she had a creative bone, buried under a lot of trial and Control Z. Ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow non-designers, it all started innocently. I had designed a couple of book covers, couple as in 500 plus book covers for a publishing house. Nothing revolutionary. Just your basic add an image, slap the text, pray it looks decent and approved by the author kind of thing. Then I joined Toastmasters in 2021. And one day, someone asked me, "Sister Sarah, do you know how to use Canva?" Now, logic said, be honest, say no, walk away, Sarah. But my mouth said, yes, because in Toastmasters, we say yes and then we panic later. And so the Canva Chronicles began. My first design looked like something a cat walked across. The logo was floating in the corner, not having enough air to breathe on the poster. The font looked like it had trust issues. And the colors, oh, the colors were at war with each other. But I was determined. I thought if I can survive table topics, I can definitely survive this. I began my design school of life. Pinterest became my vision board. YouTube became my teacher. And Control Z became my best friend. At first, I stuck to the Canva templates. Trust me, they're not that impressive. I change a font, move a box, squint at it, maybe for 15 minutes or maybe for hours, and call it modern minimalist with an identity crisis while sending it to my XCOM members. And my XCOM members, all of them, oldies, saying, "Oh, it looks so beautiful." I started believing I was a great designer, but I was not. Brand colors, didn't know. Brand book, what was that? But enthusiasm, I had that in bold and italics. Over time, I started seeing patterns, colors. The psychology hit me hard. I learned what worked, what didn't, and what looked like a poster designed in the dark. Every design was a baby step forward. 6 months in, things changed. As my interest in designing grew, so did my curiosity. Canva was no longer enough. I wanted more. And that's when I discovered Adobe Creative Cloud. Yes, the land of Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Also called by me the Bermuda Triangle of all beginners. It was intimidating, but I dove in head first. Again, thanks to technology. I watched tutorials, followed online courses, and practiced for hours and hours on end. And guess what? People said, "Wow, who designed this?" And I'd smile modestly, awkwardly taking the compliment. While inside I was screaming, "Me! It was me! All me!" And of course, 3 hours of hunting for design inspiration on Pinterest. Ladies and gentlemen, what did this journey teach me? It taught me that first, you do not need to be an expert to start. You just need to start. And second, that technology is not here to intimidate us. It's here to elevate us, our skill sets. I didn't become a world-class designer, if I may say so. I became a curious learner with an internet connection and a stubborn desire not to give up. From a non-designer who didn't know the difference between CMYK and RGB to a full-time designer doing it professionally today. It has been a wild, colorful, and pixel-packed journey. And every step of it made possible because I used technology to build on myself. I didn't wait for a degree. I didn't wait for permission. I only waited for my YouTube to buffer at the right time, and then I went for it. And here's the truth, my non-designers. We are all one YouTube video away from learning something new. One awkward first design away from discovering a hidden talent. And one brave yes, I can try away from unlocking a potential. So the next time someone asks you, can you design a flyer for me? Say yes. Then open your laptop, Google like a maniac, and grow through the chaos. Because in this digital age, self-development isn't downloaded, it's designed. Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, DTM sir. A wonderful, wonderful speech that we can all learn. And most importantly, I think what you want to say is, if you can, so anybody can. Is that correct? Wonderful. And let us give a 1 minute of timer. Can you give me 1 minute while the evaluator also finalizes the thought? I just want to give the evaluator 1 minute for the thoughts. And let's have something. Let me ask DTM Sara, what inspired you to give this speech? What was the purpose of this speech from your side?
So when the message was circulated in our OIG group of the theme being self-development through technology, this is the first thing that came to my mind, that we often think that technology is holding us back. You know, when especially that I am a creative artist, I'm a writer, I'm an author. For us, when we see people writing ChatGPT speeches or using content like that, we often feel, oh, if ChatGPT is here, what is the need for us writers to be there, you know? So in that sense, I thought of it. And this is the first thing that came to my mind was that if I can be a designer, and I don't come from a design background, I come from an engineering background, and that too in biotechnology, then yes, definitely anybody can do it. I mean, we have a lot of people who have a knack for, you know, aesthetic designs. Like if I have to say so, DTM Khalid Abdullah, who quite troubled a lot of people during his term for aesthetic and artistic designs. He might be shaking his head saying, no, but that's not true. We all know that. So when you have a knack for seeing what works and what doesn't work, then just trying to design something will always work out in your favor. And someday, if I can go from being a VPPR at a club level to the PRM of the district, then I believe all of us can have that sort of a journey.
What a wonderful piece of inspiration, the journey. Please give her a big round of applause. Thank you. Now we come to our second speaker. We now heard a journey of self-development, a personal self-development. Now we have another speaker who is also a professor at a private university in Saudi Arabia, a published author, and a researcher in the field of education technology. Currently, our valued VPPR for the club, Toastmaster Malaka Itani, and she will talk about her journey as a team from pen to pixel, a research journey. From pen to pixel, a research journey by Toastmaster Malaka Itani. Over to you, madam.
Thank you, Toastmaster Farouk. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at the typewriter and bleed. Hemingway. What a striking image. Bleeding onto the typewriter. Of course, Hemingway didn't mean this literally. What he meant was that writing isn't just about putting words on paper. It's about pouring out your thoughts, your emotions, your truth. It's a raw, honest process that requires vulnerability, focus, and courage. As both a teacher and a researcher, I always base my research topics on what I observe in my own classroom. When something catches my attention, a pattern, a change in behavior, or a question that lingers, I turn it into a research opportunity. And that's exactly how one of my recent projects began, with a simple everyday observation about how my students prefer typing over handwriting. In other words, how my students struggle with handwriting. The first step in bringing this research project was, of course, assembling the right team. Now, based on my goals and available resources, I knew I couldn't do it alone. I needed collaborators who not only had the necessary skills, but also shared my curiosity and passion for the topic. So I reached out to a few researcher friends, and I even invited one of my own students to join me. And that was the first time that I have a student write with me. It was important to find willing participants with shared values and goals, like people who understood the purpose of the research and were genuinely interested in exploring it. We took time to build strong working relationships, of course, laying the foundation for a smooth and collaborative process. I also shared my initial idea and welcomed their input, allowing us to shape the whole plan together. So that sense of shared ownership made the project more dynamic and, of course, more meaningful. Now, the next step was delegating tasks. As team leader, I had to ensure we stayed on track. So I assigned responsibilities based on each member's strengths and availability. One handled the literature review, for example, another focused on data analysis, and my student also helped design the questionnaire and reach participants, that is, students like her and other teachers. So matching tasks to people made the process smoother and more engaging for everyone. Now, as the project moved forward, I made sure to track progress, our progress, and adjust when needed. For example, we had a problem. One of the researchers did not respond to my emails or to my messages, so we had to continue without him. And that was the first time I worked with this researcher. Also, I was the corresponding author, so I took on the role of communicating with the journal publisher and handling the payments. Staying organized and checking in regularly, of course, helped keep everything on schedule. For me, the project is only truly complete when the research article is actually published. That is when I see the link, when I see it on the internet. Now, in my most recent communication with the journal, which was a couple of days ago, as the corresponding author, I was told that the paper will be out in just a few days. Now, I'm filled with excitement and anticipation, and it feels like waiting for the birth of a baby, something you've nurtured, that you worked hard for, and are finally ready to share with the world. So as we wrap up this journey, let me return to the question that started it all. Why are students resisting writing by hand? Are you interested in knowing the results of our research study? Let me see. Should I tell you the results? Are you interested?
Please.
Our research confirmed what I had observed. Most students genuinely dislike handwriting and strongly prefer typing. Now, for teachers, this shift has its benefits, of course, because typed work is easier to read and it's more organized and faster to grade. But it also raises one concern. What is it? When students actually type in the classroom and have the internet there with them. Any concern, you think? Of course, typing in class opens the door to quick internet access, and with that, the risk of academic dishonesty. In short, if there is anything that I want you to leave this speech with, it is that technology, like any tool, it comes with its advantages and challenges. And as teachers, as lifelong learners, it's our role to adapt, to question, to find ways to grow, because in the end, self-development through technology is not just about using new tools. It's about understanding their impact. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Malaki, for that interesting observation and sharing your research with us. While we give 1 minute time for the evaluator, Madam Timer, let's give that. I would like to ask Toastmaster Malaki, in all of this research that you have done, were you using any technology for collaboration like Teams or something for progress update? And what prompted you really to come up with the research that why are the students are not writing anything down? Did you notice that in the classroom they didn't take notes? Sorry, a lot of questions, but your topic was so interesting.
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, we did use technology. For example, we used Google Drive in order to have one shared document for everyone to have their input in. And of course, we needed Google Drive to have the form to send the survey to participants. And in technology, we also used the Zoom in order to do interviews with the teachers and with the students. So that's regarding the technology that we use. Now, what actually started it is, yes, the observation that I had in class, but it was this time, usually all my research works are based on my observations. However, this time it was more than that. It was a complaint from the students about 2 years ago. They complained that I am forcing them to actually write on paper during the final exam. It was a big thing in the university, and the management did listen to them. And I thought, okay, this isn't about students being spoiled or something. No, this is about students having great resistance to writing. This is about students panicking to carry the pen and putting it on paper. This was a big thing. And it is the time when I won the case, by the way, during that time. But it was the time that I said, no, I have to do some research about that.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Malaki, for that. I'll have interesting questions for you later on at the panel discussion.
Sure.
Some of them come, but I do not take the time ahead right now, and maybe some others will ask it. But yours was a very interesting topic because it reflects not only your journey, but the journey of everybody else. Now we come to another wonderful speaker. What can I say about this speaker? He looks at challenges. He does not stop at anything. If you tell him that he can't do something, he will go ahead and say, I will prove you wrong. And this is a person we all love in our club. We are delighted to have, always smiling, always eager to help. And I remember I called him something when I saw in him, like he is in his company, a knight in shining armor. He's the company IT support where everybody looks to him for support, and being in IT support, he really comes ahead and supports a lot of people. And you know, it's more technical difficulty, but he solved it with ease and made the client happy. So we have with us today Toastmaster, our third and final speaker, Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi, with the title Supercharge Your Growth. Supercharge Your Growth, Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Farouk, for this wonderful introduction. What I can say about after this introduction. So, let me start a speech. Is AI, artificial intelligence, will replace humans? Let me be precise more. It will replace the public speakers. Join me in an experiment that I made, and let us see what happened. By the way, this speech was generated by AI. Before 10 minutes, I didn't have time to practice it, just to make the experience genuine as much as possible. Let's see. What is written in there, that AI will not replace people. Imagine it is an 24/7 coach that knows your strength, that knows your weakness, that knows how to guide you to grow more and more. Let me precise on 5 things that we will focus on. For how can you use artificial intelligence in your growth? First one, AI as a personal mentor. It will give you guidance and show you the way through 2 things. According smart learning by using ChatGPT and Coursera AI to explain the topics and more topics and guide you how to be a professional in any topic you want. The second, tolerate feedback. It will give you writing, analyze your writing, analyze your speeches, coding skills, and give you a personal improvement. For example, what is written, there is an AI tool called Aura as a public speaking, ORAI, that will coach you and give you the guidance how to filter the words and how to improve your speech. This is the first point. The second point, supercharge your productivity. Work smarter and don't work not harder. Through 2 things also, task automation, like using AI to handle repetitive tasks and repetitive emails, and focus on the most important things. Focus boosters, the second, apps like Notion AI organize your goals, and Forest AI keeps you from distractions. You can, as a pro tip, you can use AI assistants to remind you for breaks. The third point is build habits that stick. The idea, AI know your pattern better than you do, your habits more than you do, through habit trackers, like apps like Harbatica, turns the growth into a game and remind you of the progress. Productive naggers, AI notify you, like in the workout schedule, put your schedule and notify you when you have to do your workouts and motivate you. Fourth thing, believe it or not, mental and emotional growth. AI can help you be your 24/7 therapist through mood analyze. It will analyze your mood and give you track your emotions and give you tips and tricks how to avoid over emotions. Personalized generaling through like it will focus on your stress points and try to guide you and give you some techniques to avoid stress. Here, the key message, AI will not replace a human connection, but it's a lifeline when you need quick support. The fifth and the last point is scale recommendation, like LinkedIn AI suggests courses for your job improvement, AI career coaches that tell you, help you in the resume and help you to improve in your job. 85% of the jobs in 2030 does not exist yet. It exists, so AI will help you to adopt it early. It is obvious, it is obvious that AI will, by using AI, from my experience now, it helped me in generating the content. But what is missing is the personal stories about it and the experience. So to conclude the speech, AI is a guidance tool. It will not replace a human. So relax and don't be panicked. And back to you.
Thank you. Please give a big round of applause to our Toastmaster, Abdullah Hayyan, always at the forefront of technology and willing to share ideas and experimenting new things. Let me ask you one question before, so we can give our letter 1 minute of the time to finish this evaluation.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what app or what agent did you find the most useful to you and you use frequently in your personal experience?
As an agent, it is not the agent that you use. It's the prompt that you put in the AI. The prompt is the way you ask the AI to give you information. There is some specialized AI tools, but all of it depends on the prompt and how you write the sentence to get the more specific information.
So it's something like, when you get a magic lamp and you have 3 wishes, you have to be sure what wish you wish for, right?
Yes, like this. You can do mention it like this.
Thank you very much. Please give our speaker a big round of applause for this one. And now we come to the important part, which is the panel discussion. I know all of you have been listening to all of these experiences from our wonderful pool of speakers. And I think you will have a lot of questions. If not you, I do have a lot of questions for each one of them. And I'm ready there. So let us now, can I ask the web moderator or the timer, if you can, just spotlight the panelists and myself. So we are on the screen for the audience, and we'll take. But anyway, we are few. I think we can manage. Okay then. Okay. So any questions for us panelists today? So Toastmaster Malake, Toastmaster Sarah, and Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi. Any volunteers? Anybody has a question? Yes, DTM Khalid.
Right,
Please.
I have a question and a request. So the first is the request, and I'll pull Toastmaster Abdullah's leg to maybe have another workshop on how to use AI properly and what language that you need to use in AI to pass back to you a proper dialogue or answers. So that's basically for Toastmaster Abdullah. No pressure, of course. You have 1 month to prepare. And the and the second is a question
Yes,
now.
like Sarah said, yes. Then I'll feel in panic afterward.
And the question is to the first speaker. What would you do with all of the knowledge that you gain now in PR? What is the way forward for you? Back to you, moderator.
Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. This is what I've done during this term, DTM Khalid as PRM. I thought I'll take a step back. I was, of course, very much focused on the club and myself last 2 years of my PR journey. And this term I dedicated to a lot of PRs in the district, PR enthusiasts, where I mentored them personally. They used to send me posters, I used to tell them. Some of them I actually sat down with them in meetings to discuss, okay, color psychology says this. The brand book says this, but honestly speaking, when you study color psychology, you would understand, okay, do not use this color with this combination. This is how you do it. What font will sit better? What is the design theory that is there? So I've sat down and mentored and shared my expertise, my trade secrets with PRs. And Alhamdulillah, I've gotten to see that with the PR awards that we run in the district, I've been able to see that people have used those techniques. People have been influenced and inspired by the district designs, that they have gone on to make brand compliant work. They have seen creativity there. And for me, that has been my win as a PRM this term. So this is one way that I've been able to impart the knowledge. And inshallah, whether I continue ahead or not, I am always available, call or a text away for people who always want to learn designing. I've been trying to push DTM Ali, but he said my drawings are enough to keep everybody excited. The drawings that he shares only in the XCOM group, unfortunately, not even in the bad group. So yeah, that's about it. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, and now if the moderator would allow me. So this would also open maybe another leg for the first speaker to maybe tell us more about color psychology. That's a very nice term. So now without, of course, before my time is up, I'll go to the second speaker. So Toastmaster Malake now, you asked toward the end a very interesting question when it comes to typing and writing with your hand. So my understanding is there is a different brain cell that you would be using when you write with your hand instead of typing. So what's your say on this? Of course, my handwriting is bad, but at least the cell would be working. And where is that terminology that our Madam President said before my brain gets rotten?
Yes, definitely. When you write with your pen, it's definitely better than when you type. There's this connection. There are these wires that work in your brain because it connects it physically to your hand, and then it's also connected to your vision and how you see it on paper. The problem isn't anymore whether to. We used to type in the past, like with the actual typewriters, with like the very old writers of the past. The problem isn't actually with the typing. The problem is that students or people in general do not want to think anymore because it's present, it's there. They copy paste it from the internet, right? And that is a problem. With time, thinking will be a rare skill. And we will find this in learners, specifically in learners, but it'll be a rare skill with everyone, even with employees. Now, most students panic when I give them a topic to write about, because they simply don't want to think, even with the simplest topics, like write about the effect of social media on teenagers, write about video games and their effects, write about how to be successful as a university student. The simplest and most relevant topics they don't want to write about. So that's an issue, actually. Now, coming back to writing, most of the time they want to actually type on their devices and not on paper, because they feel they are alone there. They are in a battle with only two tools, a piece of paper and a pen. While when they're at their device, they feel that they are supported. There's always something to borrow from and to like cheat from. And this is psychologically big. So this is a psychological game we are talking about here. Learners do not want to be left alone with a piece of paper and a pen in their hand. They have this great urge to reach out to their phones and to get help from the internet. And this is something that educators should be careful with and should pay attention for. I mean, they should be concerned about. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you answered the question to the extent that I have a follow-up question. And of course, now, okay, just remember that myself and Brother Farouk comes from the same university, so I got infected now. So the counter argument here, and this you hear it from Gen Zs. So Gen Zs say, I need my gadgets. I need my, okay, see, you're not a Gen Z, Sister Sarah, you're already baby boomer. So for the Gen Z, they say, I would need my gadgets. I need to work smart, not hard. Whereas people at my age would want to have the pen, would want to have the note. Okay, the notepad is already matching with the background. But anyway, okay, now the color psychology is coming at my end. So what is the right way of moving forward? The Gen Zs are the future of this, whatever we do, and they come with their own demands. But talking about myself, when I look at them, I say, well, no, let's do handwriting, because the handwriting would rewire your brain differently. So what's your say in this, Toastmaster Malaki?
They actually have a much stronger counter argument than the one that you've mentioned, and which is that later when they work, no one really will care whether they will use pen or not. The work has to be done one way or another. And that is a very strong argument that teachers, or at least I, struggle with, except for one thing. And I can say it's a strong rebuttal to such counter argument. At this stage, this is your last chance to think after having school graduation. At this stage at the university, I am generous enough to give you this last chance, you learners, to think on your own, to be on your own. So, and you will have to take it. It's not take it or leave it. They will have to take it. Yes, at work, they might not really have to, they will, as you said, they will have to work smart and not hard. But we're talking about the human brain here and the human ability to think. If they don't do it now, when will they do it? Plus, I can simply gain their likability, or I can become more popular with my students if I let them do it the way that they want. But what about my duty, my responsibility as an educator, not a teacher, simply as an educator? I'm here to build a person and not just a writer. I'm building a person. So I have to stick to my guns. I cannot surrender here to their counter argument. So I have to just tell them, you have to do it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll leave you under the mercy of Brother Farouk now. I'll keep quiet.
Thank you, Toastmaster Malaki, for that
Thank
wonderful.
you.
So if anybody has a question to address to Toastmaster Malaki, or Toastmaster Abdullah, because I have a follow-up question for Toastmaster Malaki. It's a tough question. Don't answer me right away. I'll ask my question and you can come back to me later. One of the things about education is that, as DTM Khalid said, do we have to force our thoughts on the new generation, or do we have to adapt to the new generation? Now, one of the things that happens is, when I always had a bad handwriting, and I always used to say, put the excuse like, I think so fast that my writing cannot catch up. That's why I had a bad handwriting. But then I learned how to put only bullet points. Now, one of the things that I looked in the research also about education with the new generation Z is that maybe we are doing it the wrong way. We are asking them to respond to questions in the way we like traditional question papers and everything. And that is our generation, that we had to rely on memory and what we learned. But today's generation does not need memory. They already have a database in Google for all the memory they need, right? Now, what is the more important skill that we need to? Now, I think in my case, one of the people I heard is, maybe we as academics, we need to change the way we do the testing for them. Now we need to test them and see how they apply that knowledge to their personal self or a personal project. Maybe we need to be more creative in doing that. I remember like somebody was telling me like they had an assignment and the instructor was telling them do it by hand. And they were able to do it in Excel very quickly. And the instructor said, no. But it got the job done, right? And they learned something, skill in it. At the end of the day, we are asking for proficiency. So maybe we also need to change our examination skills to that. So I'll leave that question to you later on. You come back to me whenever you're ready. Thank
I can
you.
answer now if you want, since
Sure,
I still
please.
remember. May I?
Please.
Right. Regarding the a very important skill that you mentioned, which is adaptability, and yes, we have to adapt to this generation and to our age, right? And I want to adapt not only because I want to maintain my proficiency or my professionalism in my work, and because I want to stay in the field. I also am afraid of becoming obsolete in the eyes of my students, because one important source of motivation, especially for university students, is how they look at you, how good you are as an instructor. With, like, for example, that instructor who wanted them to write on paper rather, and they did it on Excel with maybe a click of a button. Yes, I'm sure that if I were the teacher, I would show them that I can teach you how to do it on Excel. I know it, but I still want to make sure that you do it the other way. Now, regarding changing the examination, in Australia now, there is no, after ChatGPT, there is no university that has typed tests. Everything now is on paper, at least for the finals. So that's for Australia. And I want to, and I like this strategy, because I'm sure that they know that their students cannot can do it the other way, but we have also to adapt to the challenges that we have in cheating. Cheating is a big thing. This is a big issue now. Now, if I don't want to waste everyone's time, but I can talk about this forever. In one of my research papers, as I said, it's based on my observation. I thought, actually, I noticed that students are impressed when I solve a computer problem in the classroom, or when I use gamification. Gamification is using games in teaching. So I built a research study based on that, and I was shocked because the result of the findings of my paper were opposite to what I had thought. In the end, students didn't really care if the teacher is good at fixing computer problems or not. Students didn't really care if if teachers use gamification or not. They really cared about the content, okay? So and other things perhaps. But here again, this shows that yes, we have to show them that we are not obsolete. Yet we have to care for other things in their learning at the same time. When ChatGPT was out, on day one, I told my students before they even knew about it, I opened ChatGPT and I told them, let's use it now. And when I told this to my colleagues, they were surprised. How could you do this? Why did you tell them? I told them, of course, they will know about it sooner or later. So let me teach them how to use it in their learning, in the classroom activities. And they did this very well. I can talk about this forever, but I don't want to take much of your time. Sorry.
No, thank you. This was a good answer. This is what I was looking for. You know, we are balancing the traditional approach and the new approach, and we are trying to give the best to the student. That's what I wanted to know about it and how you tackled it, right? Because there is something in the basic. You could not, maybe you come at a time when you don't have access to internet. What will you do?
True.
Right?
Very valid question. Yes.
When you
Yes,
don't
true.
have access to anything, what will you do? Maybe it's a life-threatening situation, or do you have to make a decision? And again, one of the things that I always talk about is I'm in the field of technical field, like people want automation in engineering and other things. You are part of that also. But at the end of the day, how can you ask a tool to make a engineering decision when the responsibility comes to a human, right? Legally, there is who is responsible. It's not, you cannot transfer the legal implications to a bot, right? It has to be human.
Nice.
Thank
Nice.
you. Dr.
Legally
Laila.
and ethically, maybe. Yes.
Yes. Dr. Laila, you have a question, please? Please go ahead. Dr. Laila, you're muted. Yeah, please.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for your appropriate speeches. That was wonderful speeches given by everyone. My question is to Dr. Malaki regarding the AI. Okay, since you are a professor or a doctor in the university, to what extent you or how you assess your students once they have, like, for example, piece of paper, and you think that this is not the one who wrote it, or he used, for example, AI in writing this piece of paper. For example, for me and my belief, I will never use it like to judge for me medical field, because it's by the end of the day, it's only a website that collects information from different for example, resources,
Sites.
and will give me the information, but it will never give appropriate judgment more than the human being. So, for example, our brain is having will not be replaced with artificial intelligence, because we are, of course, more smarter than this. So how will you assist your students, since you accepted, for example, to use the AI, for example, in learning?
Thank you, Dr. Laila. I'll start with what you mentioned last about that artificial intelligence cannot do the work that we can do, the intellectual work that we can do. Let us admit and let us not underestimate AI. It can present a perfect work, at least an excellent job, and it can present something that no plagiarism detector can detect. There are plagiarism detectors like Turnitin, and we use that on Blackboard. And there's a specific plagiarism detector for ChatGPT now. The problem isn't here. With ChatGPT, I wasn't threatened or afraid of having students let the artificial intelligence do the job for them. Because guess what? Anything that is done at home, it is not only that it could be done by ChatGPT or other artificial intelligence. It could be done by their dads or cousins or paid tutors. So it's not that I have trust issues here, not with artificial intelligence. I have trust issues with the learners themselves. So I think my doubts here are valid, because yes, anything that's not done in front of me could be done by any tutor at home. So this is one thing. How can I detect it? We have detectors, but I don't trust even the detectors. I cannot trust them. How do I use it with my students as a learning tool? Here's how. One of the lessons is to write the references page in a research paper. With the references page, according to APA 7th edition, for example, you have certain rules. So here's what I did with them, and that was 2 weeks ago. I put the students in groups. Each group had to show a presentation, come up with a game, with a lesson. They had to teach this lesson, writing the references page, one way or another. They had their devices with them in the classroom. Do whatever you want. I told them even use artificial intelligence. And you know, some sites now can give you the presentation like full from A to Z. You just give them the topic, give it the topic, and it gives you the full presentation. I wanted them to do that. And then each team did present their lesson about the references page. And my job was, as a teacher, to correct any mistakes that are there, because there sometimes are mistakes even with artificial intelligence. Sometimes when it comes to the rules, sometimes it brings you rules from a past edition of APA, for example. So here it is. We collected all these presentations. We put them on OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive. There are many links now, and voila. Ladies, everyone, you have to, this is your study material. I'm not going to create any PowerPoint for you. This is your study material for test 4, and they did that. And أخلت مسؤوليتي. I wasn't responsible for the material anymore, because I saw the presentations. I corrected any mistakes that were there. And in this way, I made sure that the students used artificial intelligence for their benefit and for their advantage, not by like cheating from it as like per se. I hope I answered your question. Did I?
Dr. Leda?
Yes, Doctor. Thank you for your answer. Actually, I got benefit from your experience as well.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Dr. Leda.
Thank you. Any more questions for any of panelists? Anybody has any question for one of panelists? Anybody? If not, I'll ask our Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi a question. One of the things is, how many, when you look at different bots and different agents that you are talking about, you talked a lot about these, and we call them in technology terms agents, right?
Yeah.
That we are using and triggers. And you put a very important point, which is the prompt. But if now the question is, we can use the agents to serve our needs, but you are talking something about mental and emotional agents who guide and prompt you. Now, the question I have is, can these agents be hacked? And if they are hacked, can they be used against you to give you the wrong prompts?
Yes, it can be. It can be done like this. So you, as a human, you will never depend on him 100% because you don't know the reference. But by getting it back to what Toastmaster Mike said, so at the end you have to use your brain and your judgment.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in that case, just a follow-up question. Aren't we doing the task repeatedly? Now, if you are not trusting those bots, what's the use of those bots and agents? If we are always going to be second guessing them.
It will give you ideas. It will give you something to start with. Farouk. But the question is, it is not the trust. It is how you use the knowledge that you get. For example, in the past ages, we used books, for example, to get knowledge and go to libraries to search for one information. Then computer came and Google came. So it is it will not يعني it will not reach in a way you are blind and just take the information without thinking.
Thank you.
So that's why I urge people or tutors to encourage people, the students, to use their brains.
I get it. So it's something like, if I get you right, in summary, we
Mm.
can use the agents and boss for something repetitive, where we have defined path, like doing stock trading based on some parameters that we want them to do, because they are more faster than us. I sort of, but getting them, using them for our personal or relationship or health type of thing, you have to be cautious. Will be that
Yeah,
bit
you
of
have to be cautious about it. Yeah.
thing.
Mm.
Okay.
I hope
Yeah,
I answer your
example,
question.
Yeah, I have
Answer
something
them.
to add. I think, for example, like if we are in a professional setting, for example, like schools or university, AI has to be like plagiarism. For example, they have to give, for example, percentage for AI and percentage for plagiarism as part of, for example, writing the assignments and doing the exams. So it helps to assist the students as well improvement as part of the academic part.
Thank you, Doctor. So one, before I give the floor to
And you
somebody else.
need, Farooq, sorry for interrupting, but you need human interaction. It's
Yes,
not blindly to
absolutely.
blindly. Even if you make a machine or an agent do your work, to create an agent, there is a human interaction.
Absolutely.
The
You have to
certain
teach it.
how you rely on the information and how you use it is the question.
I understand. And this is one of the things I was discussing with one of my colleagues who has an AI firm, is that we need to spend time teaching the agent, and then we have to invest in it, like we invest in anything else, and then we can slowly build up the trust for that. Thank you.
You got my idea.
Yeah. DKM Sala, one question for you before. You talked about all the experiences that you have done. And one of the things I was curious about is, you have been a publisher. When are you gonna think about writing a book about your experiences and all of these things and put it together? You talked about the value that you've got, but what are you doing to put it back in one word, in one essence, and send it back to the world? Give something back to the others.
That's a great question, and that is something that has been on top of my mind currently. With me taking a break, very long and a permanent break, I'm looking forward to it quite a lot. I feel that yes, if I do write what I went through and the absolute truth, because I love when writers become very honest. As if people have read D.T.M. Shukri's book, You Are the One and Only, they would have seen there is absolute truth written all through and through. So when authors write absolute truth about their experience, about what they went through, the challenges, the successes, the highs and lows in a book, it really influences and inspires the readers to be like, yes, she started somewhere. She was not that great, but she started somewhere. If I had to go back, I very proudly, was showing it to my mentor, DTM Ali. I think a few months back, where I showed him this was my first poster. How did you allow this to go out under the club banner? And then I showed him a recent poster of mine. I said, I see the difference. I see what happens when you come out of your comfort zone. I see what happens when you push yourself that I want to know more because I want to become a better designer. I want to see myself as a designer that can inspire so many. So yes, definitely a book is in progress, I would say. Stay tuned.
Thank you. So let me just ask you the final tip of question. Would you prefer, if you're given the choice, you will publish a book, do a podcast, or do a video blog? Which would you think it will add value in your field?
I would go publish a book, make a podcast about it, and then go about marketing the book. And of course, the book's title would be The Accidental Designer. I've thought of it.
Excellent. Thank you. Any final questions for our talented panelists that anybody has? Final questions, please. One. Okay. I think DTM Khaled and everybody is waiting, do not want to ask questions because they want them to come back again and have detailed questions in another session that is more focused. So this is how great the panelists were today. They not only shared their ideas, but they inspired us with a lot of questions and things, and we made it interactive. Please give them a big round of applause for their wonderful participation and opening their heart and experiences to all of us. Now we come back to our one of the difficult tasks that we have. How do we evaluate this session? I know as all of us, we have our own thing, but we have somebody who's going to give them some advice very critically and tell us how he felt they can do better and how they did. Please welcome none other than our in-house accredited speaker and a good friend and an inspiration to all of us and a publisher by himself, DTM Muhammad Shukri, to give the evaluation for all the panelists. Over to you, DTM Muhammad.
Thank you, DTM Farooq, and thanks to all the speakers. I know I have only 10 minutes, so I wanted to think of a way to approach this so that I create a theme for all three speakers. Of course, all three of you spoke around the same theme. I'm going to use this theme, okay, not against you, but for you. So I am definitely sure I did not use AI in evaluating you. I'm not sure about the speakers. One of them actually confessed that my speech is a script from ChatGPT. So you got a point for that, you know, Abdullah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm going to use another tool. It's not AI. It's called HI, human intelligence. To what degree there was human intelligence, human connection? Another word for that is human interaction. I stole it just now from Abdullah. So human interaction, human intelligence, this is going to be my main parameter. Let's start with Sarah. Sarah, during your speech, I didn't know whether I was an evaluator or a grammarian because I was really indulged with your writing. I enjoyed every sentence. There wasn't a sentence that was devoid from beauty, from eloquence, from all sorts of rhetorics, and you keep adding beauty to them with your modulation of voice. Wow. It's alone by itself. The writing by itself was a beauty by itself. You know, it was pure literature at its best, but then you add your voice, and your voice was one of the main strengths. I can close my eyes and I hear you squint, you know, you can say squint with my eyes at this. And all of that, you didn't leave a part of the speech which was not humanized through your voice. Bravo for that. I'm following Dr. Malake as the teacher here because we were students sitting, really, honestly, sitting as students at your session and the unofficial session. So I'm going to mark. I have scores for you, all of you, by the way, all right? The scores are on two levels, content and delivery. And all of them are scored under HI, how much human interaction was there. So here's the thing, Toastmaster Sarah. The writing that you had, I have three problems with them, okay? Problem number one, they are so good, I don't want to miss anything. I forget to follow the meaning because the wording is really good. You know, the wording is really good. And I need focus. You see, if this was written in a book, it would be the best book. And by the way, I don't know whether you wrote it or rewrote it through ChatGPT. I don't care. That was really a masterpiece. Go for writing, but when you speak, be a speaker, Toastmaster Sarah. All right? I was feeling that someone is reading a book, like an audio book, on Audible or Amazon or Kindle or on even YouTube. I can close my eyes and still feel you speaking, but that's not the point of public speaking. The point of public speaking, you speak to me. You speak to me, you speak at me, whatever you call it. I don't want you to be in another box, in another machine speaking. It's really beautiful. You have to turn to me from time to time. This is number one. Number two, the speech was so good that all of it was good. I mean, sometimes you need to give us a break from good English and go to what I call fat. It was all meat. All of this was very nutritious. Come on, we need some fat in between. You know, even the tikka, they don't put the tikka, you know, Bahraini tikka all together. There must be some shaham, I don't know, fat in between, because this is where the deliciousness comes. All right, even in speaking honestly, seriously, you need to put there some herbs, some you know, fat, so that we can absorb the meat and swallow it. All right. So, and number three, when you do that, you had so many good slogans, quotes. Some of your lines were as powerful as quotes, but because they are lost in between a big mass of writing, which is all good, I cannot distinguish the good ones. So I'll give you Ramses Smedley's tip. What he says, speech is nothing but an amplified, again, a speech is nothing but an amplified conversation. Talk to us, look at us, say to us things, all right? Not just read your speech, or actually you delivered your speech, okay? So that's number one, talk to us. Number two, I forgot. Anyway, yes, we need to hear a story. It was more of a bio. Yes, there were chronicle levels, like you were telling things in a timeline, but at the end, I want to hear a story. Make it a story. That means characters. That means dialogues. I didn't hear dialogues. There was no one other than you there. Okay, except for Ali Shahbaz, who always there in your speeches, in your life, in whatever Canva you're doing. So your score for C, it's out of 20. Sorry to take your job, TM Melaka. And the C, which is content, you achieved 6 out of 10. Not because it's not good, it's super good, but on HI level, it is 6 out of 10. I wanted it to be more humanized. But on the delivery, bravo, you got 8 out of 10. Total score is 14 out of 10. And a big warning to everyone, your scores are not going to be the same, by the way, all right? Nobody be jealous of the other. Next is to the professor herself. Professor, Bleeding Typewriter. You started with a quote by Ernest Hemingway and loved that. And then you wanted to speak about a research. And I want to detect something which is from AI. I couldn't. That was really a professor talking to her students and teaching us every step of the time. I wanted you also to educate us while you narrate. I know your project, and it doesn't require you to educate us. It just tell us your journey of a research, but you cannot not educate us. That's you, Melaka. So you say from time to time, staying organized will help you get things done. I love those rules in between. It's not only saying what I have been doing, but turn to us and give us a rule of thumb. Give us a principle, which you did. But I needed more of those. I needed you in your research, in your story, to make a variety of quotes, like give examples, give quotes, give personalities far from us, close to us, in the club. I don't know. All right. You did give a story. Thank you very much. My problem with your part is the voice. The voice went robotic. And this is the first time I hear you less humanized in voice terms only, Toastmaster Malika, all right? As if you want to get this thing out of you. What is يعني? I mean, compare that to your question and answer session. We were glued to you. Look at Dr. Leila, Khalid, all of us. We wanted you to go forever and talk to us and educate us. That was really spontaneous. That was real. Guys, please bring your conversation outside the speeches, amplify them, like Ralph C. Smedley said, in your speeches. There is something weird about speaking. When we start speaking, we become robotic. We want to become something formal. We want to become like radio orators. I don't know. It comes really automatically. Don't be automatic, okay? Let's talk to each other. Bring it on inside the speech. So your score is, am I really scoring the doctor who scores others? Get ready for this. Your score is in content, you got 7 out of 10. More humanized it was. But in delivery, sorry, it was 6 out of 10. So your total score is 14 out of 20 only in my HI detector. All right. Let's come to Abdullah. That brave guy who said, my speech, by the way, let me tell you, it is from ChatGPT. So we listened actually to AI in the voice of Abdullah Hijazi. Period. That speech was AI in the voice of Abdullah Hijazi. Now, Abdullah, we thank you for being very honest and transparent with us, all right? But at the beginning, you were very human. Will AI replace humans? And then you said speakers, which made me really jump out of my seat, not literally. And then you gave us the 5 tips. Why didn't you give us some examples to break the pattern of AI? For example, you did this in your contest, huh? Didn't you? Didn't you say, doubts followed me, like the treasurer follows you to pay your dues, right?
Yeah.
See, you break the pattern and look at the audience and tell them, like the treasurer who does this to you. I want you to follow that art that you have, because art is really human, as per Sir Ken Robinson. That's all. You could have used the thing you did at the beginning, humanized opening. You could have ended with a humanized ending, like a personalized note to us, to give us a message, like whether it's like this, whether it's like that. I don't know where you are exactly, but I can assure you, we feel Abdullah, the human, is talking to us. Your score, Abdullah, on content, you got 6 out of 10. And you're lucky you got 6 out of 10. This is ChatGPT. Even Malika, wouldn't give you 6 out of 10 if you were her student. Okay. And on delivery, you got 6 out of 10 because, eye contact also was there. So your score is 12 out of 20. Anyway, this was my fun way to engage with you. And let us, regardless of what we use, let us use as our HI, human intelligence. And as Abdullah said, human interaction. Over to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, DTM Shukri, for that wonderful job. And I know I was the last time evaluator for the consolidated evaluator for the panel. It's never an easy job evaluating 3 speeches and trying to connect them together. Well done. Bravo, sir. Bravo. So can I ask now our timer? Only this is for academic purposes, for the time taken by each of the speakers and how the time went. Toastmaster Zainab, please.
Yes, thank you, Master of Ceremonies. For the timings, I have calculated each speech with the minutes, seconds, even the seconds. So let's start with DTM Sara. Her speech was 5 minutes, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
So Toastmaster Malika was 6 minutes and 57 seconds.
Excellent.
Toastmaster Abdullah was 7 minutes and 25 seconds. And last but not least, for our evaluation, distinguished Toastmaster Muhammad, 11 minutes and 17 seconds.
That's
So
okay.
everyone is qualified.
I think
Except
everyone qualified because
yeah,
no,
Mohammed,
I think
sorry.
we can give him 30 seconds for each of the extra grace for each of the speakers, so that will give him 1.5 minutes. So he's in. Done. Thank you very much,
Back to
because
you,
I know
Mr.
it's not an easy job. Thank you very much. Thank you, Toastmasters Zainab, for keeping the time very precise and particular. Thus, with this, can I now invite our acting president, VPE, Ali Shahbaz Ali, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali, to present the awards.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremonies and panel moderator. Sorry, I was busy with work today. It's going to be till the end of the month, every Saturday. I couldn't participate much, but very happy to see the success of our second last OIG of the term, OIG 47. Of course, expressing just with a thank you is never enough, but the quality which I witnessed today is simply amazing. And DTM Khalid already shared some ideas for future OIG. So let's look at this, how we can materialize this. I would like to appreciate our Surgeon at Arms, DTM Muhammad Shukri, for being here on time and making sure everything has started on time. Thank you, brother DTM Muhammad Shukri. Next, we go to our very brave Master of Ceremonies and panel moderator. He has been busy with his contest preparation. I thought he would take a break this weekend because just day before yesterday, we were enjoying and celebrating on the same table in Division B. But yet, he took this challenge. Thank you very much for being our MC and panel moderator, Toastmaster Guram Farooq Qadir. It's an honor to have you once again with us as our panel moderator. Going to our speakers in every meeting, without the speakers, it's not a complete meeting. We can't have a meeting. So here is kudos to all our three speakers. Our first speaker, who was DTM Sara Ibrahim. Thank you very much, DTM Sara, for being a speaker today. And then we move to our second charming, dynamic VPPR of the club, who's always busy with posters, but yet she took out time to be a speaker. And that's a role model for everybody. No matter how many roles you have, don't stop speaking. Thank you, Toastmaster Malike, for being here as a speaker and sharing your insights with us. And then now we move to one of the club's seasoned speakers and a champ who gave an excellent performance at Division B. Again, just like Toastmaster Farooq Qadir, he was supposed to take a nice weekend in Hawaii, but instead of that, he joined us as speaker again. And I'm surprised, how did he do that? And mashallah, he has so many speeches in his mind. He keeps sharing his ideas with us every meeting. And he also revealed something to us this weekend. Can I share that with everybody without giving any much insights? He's working on a book.
Oh,
So let's wait to
that's
see
so
what.
cool, mashallah.
He's none other than one of our amazing champs, Toastmaster Abdullah Hijazi. Thanks for being the speaker for today in Old is Gold Series. Moving to the next team, it's very hard to be an all-rounder evaluator, but that happens in the OIG series. An evaluation out of the box, where the evaluator is given 10 minutes to evaluate 3 speakers. And as the speaker increases, the time increases. Being an all-rounder evaluation is an art by itself. And those who witness this evaluation, the previous evaluations done by DTM Muhammad Shukri, they would understand it's really an art which we should all learn. And it only improvises our listening skills and how we can present it to the speakers so they can improvise on their strengths and areas to improve. Thank you, DTM Muhammad Shukri, to be the all-rounder evaluator. And now we go to the last role player. Until yesterday, it was hard to find someone to time everything. And then we were on a lookout to whom to get. And thanks to DTM Khalid, I got in touch with him. And just within few minutes, he got our family member who is not seen so much, but he brought her back to the family. Thank you for being an amazing timer, Toastmaster Zainab Hassan. We are so happy to see you as a role player today. And thanks to DTM Khalid, who convinced her to come back to her own family. And looking forward for you to renew with us. We're just waiting. So friends, this was an amazing OIG, and I'm sure YouTube has a lot of such OIGs in its portal, designed and uploaded by Toastmaster Malake. We can always come back and enjoy our own OIG series. Before I leave, if anyone wants to share any thoughts, or before we leave, I see that we don't have any guest here.
We
Is
do,
this
Brother Ali. We have Abdullah.
Abdullah? Okay.
He just joined us for the first time today, and he was guided by Dr. Gina. Yes.
Okay. Dear Abdullah, you're most welcome to the OIG series at Bahrain Advanced Toastmasters Club. Would you like to share a few words with us? How did you find our meeting? Any comments? Thanks, Abdullah, for being here with us today. I see Zahra. Is this our Zahra or another Zahra? Maybe she can unmute and confirm that.
Yes, it's me.
She's our Zahra.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, and see you all in our regular meeting. I'll just announce the date. It is going to be on 17th of this month at 4 p.m. Fraser Suites or online. Don't forget, we have a mega conference coming in for District 20. That is the District Toastmasters Annual Conference for Bahrain, Kuwait, Egypt, and Iraq. If you haven't registered, please look at the WhatsApp groups of Toastmasters in District 20. The official group has all the information. And one of the keynote speakers is our very own DTM Muhammad Shukri. So to see him deliver a different material, please make sure you register for DTech 2025. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
I just want to say thank you for you, Ali, and thank you for everyone. This is my first time attending Toastmaster. It was recommended from one of my professors from Bahrain College. And this is my first time, inshallah, and I'll be attending also the next time in person, hopefully, to meet all of you and to know each of you individually.
Sure, most welcome, Abdullah. And even for next meeting, you can always take the details, the link from Dr. Gina.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody. See you all in the next meeting, inshallah.
Goodbye. See you.
Stay
مع
safe.
السلامة.
Goodbye,
Bye bye.
everyone.